All right, so this is my teaching video on the island of Tobago, and this is my roommate Charlotte, who's helping me out.
Okay, so after reading your website, I am curious as to what this was all for.
What brought it about?
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the semester, we were all assigned an island or a country to be adopted into, and you saw the video of my adoption where I just read it. So you just read where you're going, and then basically the website is just information about it, just kind of teaching other people. It has the 8 Millennial Development Goals, which I'll talk about later, and just kind of where my country is out on them and kind of some of the problems they're facing with those.
Okay, cool. So where is your country located, and also what's it known for?
So my island, or my country, is a little island in the Caribbean, just off the northern tip of South America. So it's just, they probably filmed part of Pirates of the Caribbean. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's basically just known for being a tourist attraction. It's a lot like Hawaii, where people just go to kind of get away and experience the culture. And
cool. Wait, it's pronounced Tobago?
Tobago, yeah.
Okay.
It's technically, there's 2 islands, Trinidad and Tobago, and they kind of run together, but I was adopted specifically to Tobago. Yeah.
Okay. So on your website you said something about a 2.0 level of globalization, and I was wondering what that means.
Okay, so we watched a video about the levels of globalization and how every country is at a certain level. And there's 3. 1.0 is where the country is led by the country. It does all the work to keep up with the rest of the world. 2.0 is where the companies lead the country, so they keep up to date with everyone. And 3.0 is where it's led by the individual, which is where everybody is headed. They said that America is mostly individuals now, but Tobago is still at 2.0, so which means it's led by the companies. And it just said that basically over the years, the manufacturing sectors have really started to flourish. And with better utilization and development of the technology that's available to them, they are going to be able to keep up with the global economy a lot better.
Okay, so do you think that they'll eventually turn into a 3.0?
Definitely. Like, I think because with using the technology, that's usually how the individual begins to lead the country. So I think with, like I said, with the more development of the technology they have, then individuals will easily be able to lead it on.
Okay, cool. So since tourists, you said that Tobago is tourist-based.
Mm-hmm.
When Tobago has a bad season, does that affect the whole country?
Yes,
Do they struggle?
for sure. The businesses in Tobago called 2013 the worst year ever for lack of tourists.
Do you know why?
It didn't specify. I think just less people. Yeah, I'm sure they've had other years like this, but this was the most recent in their mind, so they figured this is the worst year ever. And since they're at a 2.0 level of globalization, when the companies do poorly, the whole country kind of suffers because they can't keep up as well. They don't have the money to do trades or to bring people in or to kind of be the tourist country that they need to be to attract people to make their money. So it kind of struggles all around.
So when the country goes to 3.0 level of globalization, will that if they do have a bad season, will that help?
I think to a point. I think when they do become 3.0, I think they will still kind of rely a lot on the companies. But I think it would make a difference because, so you have a bad year with the companies, but you have individuals that are able to make their own money or able to attract other people or just kind of change things. They can come up with their own ideas to do whatever else is needed. So I think it would definitely change that outcome a lot.
Interesting.
Any other questions? All right. So the 8 Millennial Development Goals. So people from all over the world got together and kind of brainstormed what the world's biggest problems are and how to fix them. And they came up with a goal to reach these goals by 2015, which is Yeah, yeah. Which when I heard that, I was like, oh wow, that's like, really cool. But then doing some of the research, it was like, oh, I'm not sure that we're really going to reach a lot of those. But so I'll just kind of tell you what the goals are. Number 1 is to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. And these are all over the world. So anywhere you can think of, head there. Number 2 is to achieve universal primary education. So, like in America, primary education is, kindergarten through, you can drop out at 16. So, like sophomore, junior year. And that just is a given to us. But in places like Tobago has it pretty good, but in a lot of places like Africa, they try so hard for their education, and it's like a lot of people look down on them for it. So we're trying to get that to be a social norm everywhere. Yeah. Number 3 was to promote gender equality and empower women, which is obviously, we feel like we have that a lot here, but some places it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
How is it in Tobago?
It's pretty good. We'll actually go over that in a little bit, but we'll go into more detail on those. Number 4 is to reduce child mortality rate. Number 5 is to improve maternal health. 6 is to combat HIV, AIDS, and other diseases such as malaria or tuberculosis. And number 7 is to ensure environmental sustainability. And 8 was to develop global partnership for development. Do you have any questions on those at all?
They seem like all good things, but like you said, like 2015, I don't think we're going to be able to.
A lot of places are fairly close, and then there's other places that are just way behind. Yeah. So, in Tobago, for the first one, to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger, they're at moderate poverty, but have already reached their goal for hunger. So they're not quite sure that they're going to reach the goal for poverty yet, but at least they have people fed. So that is definitely a step in the right direction. For achieving universal primary education, they have a very high enrollment rate for primary education, but they still don't expect to reach their goal by the next year, which I think would be really frustrating to have such a high rate, but still not reach it. But at least they're still headed there. For promoting gender equality and empowering women, they've reached parity in girls' education enrollment, and they have a high share for women's paid employment, which was a big problem in the past, that women were doing the same jobs as men, but they were getting paid less, like way, way less for it. So since they've reached a high share for that, that's improved a lot. But they aren't quite where they would like to be for, what's it called, women's, like when they're in government, I can't think of the word they used. Representation. There we go. So they are trying to get more women in their government and representing for them. For reducing child mortality rate, they pretty much just already have a very low child mortality rate, and they've already reached that goal. So, which obviously there's always room for improvement. But to improve maternal health, they also have low maternal mortality and high reproductive health access, which is a lot of the problems that cause maternal health. Is they get pregnant or get some sort of STD or something, and they can't achieve help or get help for it. So to combat HIV and AIDS, they don't plan to reach that goal by 2015. One of the articles I read said that, I believe it was in 2009, they had reached a level out. They weren't getting any more new cases, but they weren't declining either. And now they've started to get more cases again. And the goal was to reach a level of stability and then to decline. And I don't think anyone has reached decline yet. So I think they're still increasing, which is kind of the wrong direction. But one day, when we get a cure for AIDS, we'll get there. And then to ensure environmental sustainability, they have high coverage on drinking water and sanitation, but not much improvement for the slum dwellers, which kind of goes along with poverty. So like the first one, they have food, and it goes along with 7, they have water and sanitation, but the people that are living in poverty still have poor conditions. And then to develop global partnership for development, they have high internet coverage all over the country. They just don't have everyone is able to access it. So, and basically, for what I thought was the most important one to focus on was education, because I feel like you're not going to be able to promote women's equality, gender equality, or health, all around health, or find a way to get out of the slums or anything if you're not educated. If you don't know how to do these things for yourself, you're not going to be able to help other people. And I think a lot of times we just think, oh, well, let's just go in and let's just build this house for them and give them an internet and give them the phone and all this stuff. But and we actually watched a video on a lady who said, we don't want those things. We want to learn how to do it all ourselves. I want to learn how to make money, and how to go to the market and what to buy, so that when America or whoever isn't in here helping us, I can still do it when I leave. So that's basically Tobago in a nutshell. So, yeah, any other questions?
That's it.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.